Hello, I'm Nick Thorne, the Nosey Genealogist. In these videos you can find out about your elusive English or Welsh ancestors. In this video we're going to look at my five favourite map resources for family history research. I love looking at maps when it comes to thinking about my ancestors and working out where they lived. I know that I'm not alone in this, but that other people just don't seem to get it. What is it that we who find maps interesting see in them? Well, for me it's seeing the layout of places compared to how they've developed today. I also love the ability to sometimes to be able to work out why an ancestor lived where they did. Perhaps it's the nearness of an industry or some other place of work that becomes blindingly obvious when you find their street was just a 5-minute walk away from the factory that they worked at, or the dockyard where your rope maker ancestor had been employed. I find it exciting to see how in 1731 people who lived in Birmingham would have had a 5-minute walk from the centre of their town to see countryside. That there were fields on the other side of the road to St Philip's Church, which is now of course Birmingham Cathedral, and that there was no Victoria Square, no town hall or council house at the top of New Street, and that Colmore Row was then called New Hill Lane. Maps can be very useful for the researcher looking into their family tree, and so I've put together my personal list of my top 5 resources that I'd recommend. In reverse order, number 5 is the Phillimore Atlas and Index of Parish Registers. The maps in this book can help you identify contiguous parishes to your ancestors' parish, and that's useful when you have a brick wall finding christenings, marriages, burials of your kin in their original parish. So consider looking at the surrounding area and researching in the neighbouring parish records to see if you can find them there. Number 4 is the interactive bomb map of London, online at bombsite.org. The Bombsite project has scanned the original 1940s bomb census maps, georeferenced them and digitally captured the geographical locations of all the falling bombs recorded and made it available online. You can use their interactive map to explore and search for different bomb locations all over London. I've used it to find where an ancestor's shop was on a street. As a post-war building now stands on the site, I wondered if it had been destroyed in the Blitz. Using this application, I was able to discover that it had indeed been destroyed by a German bomb. You can click on individual bombs on the map and find out information relating to the neighbouring areas by reviewing contextual images and also read memoirs of the Blitz. Number 3 in my list is FamilySearch's maps at maps.familysearch.org. When I'm trying to find out which other Church of England parishes existed in an area, as an online alternative to the Phillimore's Atlas that I've talked about above, I often use the maps.familysearch.org resource. It can be really useful if you want to discover which county a parish is in, which diocese it is part of, or which civil registration region it was in. You can use the drop-down menu to find its rural deanery, the Poor Law Union, the Hundred, and the Church of England province. That would be either Canterbury or York. You can also find the division. Now, my number 2 resource is the National Library of Scotland, with their website that is NLS Maps. The website gives you access to over 160,000 maps from all the countries of the United Kingdom, and not just Scotland. With maps dating from between 1560 and 1964, this is one of my go-to websites when I want to see a map of a place that my ancestors lived in. I often turn to a map overlaid on a modern map or satellite view. Or I can choose to view an old map side by side with a modern version. My top map resource is that of a collection of surviving Tithe maps that have been digitized by the genealogist, and the reason why it's my top, it's for the ability to often find ancestors' actual plots of land and the houses from the time that the survey was done, which was 1837 to the mid-1850s, and sometimes later when an altered apportionment map was drawn up. While the accompanying tithe apportionment books detail the lands that your ancestor either owned or occupied, these records can be so revealing as to where our forebears lived and whether they had some land to grow produce on or keep animals. All levels of society are included, and surprisingly some streets in major cities were included as they were tithable. The tithe collection covers approximately 75% of England and Wales, as a minority of land was not subject to tithes by this time.
So if you'd like to find out more about how to cheese out your elusive English or Welsh ancestors, then go to noseygenealogist.com/discover.